it's Reagan, and today I'm here to do my March wrap-up. And now for the month of March, I read a total of 5 books, which I'm actually pretty pleased with, especially because I've been in a reading slump for the past 8 days. Basically, one of the books I read this month gave me the worst book hangover that I feel like I'm almost out of now going into the month of April, which is good, but man, that book, which I will talk about in this video obviously. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right in. So the first book I completed this month was Wind Witch by Susan Dennard. This is the second Witchlands novel that has been released. It continues on the first book, which is full of female friendship, female magic, and female cake buttery, plus some really great romantic threads. Obviously, this follows 2 best friends who live in a world where there are a variety of different witches who have different types of powers. One of our main characters is a truth witch who can tell if people are telling a lie. She's very rare and very sought after. And the other witch is a thread witch, and she can kind of see how everything and everyone is connected through the world. It's very good. I personally loved the second one. I even think more than the first one. I felt like it expanded much more on the politics of this world and really grew the problem into a much larger scale. I feel like the stakes were definitely raised in this book. I also appreciated how the relationship stakes were increased in this book. We really got to see characters interact much more in this, and I really liked it. I don't want to spoil anything obviously, but I just really felt like this was a great continuation on in this series. I'm really excited to see where Susan Dennard takes this. I'm also really excited to see her future books. This is just such a fantastic series, and oh my god, there's a ship in here that I am just obsessed with. Basically, Adawan and Izielt? I don't know how to say her name, but forever. I love them. Could just read their perspective forever. They have the funniest basically they both are like emotionless, and yet they have a lot of emotions right now that they don't know what to do with, but they're still emotionless, so seeing them react and try to communicate is probably my favorite thing in the entire world, because they infuriate each other, and I love it so much. Next book I read this month was Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. This is a YA contemporary novel. This follows our main character Maddie, who literally has been in her house her entire life because she is allergic to everything, literally everything, and so far she's been very comfortable with that. She lives in her own world with her mother, her nurse Carla. She reads books every day, but then one day some neighbors move in and she kind of forms this friendship that leads to something more with the neighbor boy. In this novel we follow Maddie as she kind of comes to age and realizes what she has in her life and is confronted with a lot of emotional and psychological problems in terms of facing one's fears, but also accepting and becoming comfortable with the direction you want to take your life in. I did really enjoy this book. It took some really sharp, unexpected turns, I will say. I really loved Maddie, and I really loved the dialogue and the relationship she and Ollie had. I also really loved seeing her strong relationship with her mother as well as her nurse Carla. Maddie was just such a wonderful character to read from. I really thought she was pretty level-headed. I mean, obviously she's a teenager and she lives a very difficult life, but I still felt like she was such a positive person, which I couldn't have anything but respect for, because I don't think I would be anything like her if I was in her situation. I think she was incredibly mature, and I also just really appreciated just kind of following her through the story. This book also has some just doodles and illustrations in it. It's a super fast read, but I thought those illustrations were super cute and added to Maddie's personality. I felt like they really just added a whole nother character level. I really liked this book. I ended up giving it a 4 to 5 stars. I really want to read more Nicola Yoon. The Sun is also a star, because I hear that's even better than this. So I'm excited to have this. I'm also excited to see the movie of this when it comes out soon, so yeah. The next book I read is the Proustopia Book Club Pick of the Month for the month of March, and this month we are working with Penguin Random House, and that book is The Valiant by Leslie Livingston. I have a full non-spoiler review of this, which I'll leave linked down below, but this is a YA historical fiction with a hint of fantasy following our main character Fallon, who grew up in Britannia, and she is a Celtic princess. In her childhood, Caesar comes, takes over her lands, and kills her sister. From that day, she vows to get her revenge. However, when she's older, she's captured by slavers and sold to an all-female gladiator school where she has to fight to the death for Caesar. This book is all about combat, for one thing. Fallon is so cool. She's so powerful, and I honestly love reading training sequences and just seeing characters who are already powerful get more powerful. It's like one of my favorite things. I could read training sequences all day. But also what I loved about this book, it has an amazing female friendship between Fallon and another character, Elka. They're both so bad A. And I also felt like there was a really great undercurrent of Roman politics throughout this entire story, and it also had a hint of romance, which I enjoyed. Ultimately, I did want a little more combat, which I just really loved it so much. I ended up giving this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Again, if you want more in-depth thoughts, go check out my review. But I really, really like this, and I'm excited for the live show that's coming up to talk more about it. The next book I read totally gave me a book hangover, and I'm still struggling with it. I'm pretty sure I will get over it soon, but man. And that book is The Blood Mirror by Brent Weeks. This is the 4th book to the Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks. Oh my god, the series is just so good. This is actually my least favorite book in the series, which sounds bad, but honestly this series is just that amazing. This is a novel that I would definitely say is setting up for the concluding novel, kind of moving characters, moving plot lines in a way that everything can be wrapped up in like an explosion in the last book, which I know is just going to be absolutely amazing. That being said, this book had plot twists on plot twists. I don't know how Brent Weeks does it, honestly. I feel like every book he ups the ante and ups the stakes. He's like, you thought you had it figured out and you thought it was crazy last book, but wait a minute, because here we go again. It's just insane. And I like some of the twists that this story took. I thought it was really interesting, and like I said, the last book is going to be just so freaking good. I've talked about this book series a lot on my channel. If you're not familiar with it, basically it's a high fantasy multi-perspective novel that centers around a magic system that uses light. Basically, there's the spectrum of light, and the more colors in that spectrum you can use, the more powerful you are. However, you also die more quickly. The more you use your magic, the more quickly you are to die. It's an amazing book. I don't even understand the politics, like the politics and the maneuvering and the conversations and the characters. It's just crazy. Like, oh my god. You secretly like the bad guys because you have so much respect for them because it's just insane what they maneuver to do, and same with the good guys. It's crazy. I love this series. It's so good. Please read it. I promise you'd like it. I would be shocked if you didn't. And the last book I read this month, I ended up DNFing, I'm not gonna lie, but I got pretty far into it, so I'm gonna count it and I'm gonna talk about it, and that is The Headmistress of Rosemare by Sarah E. Ladd. I really thought I felt like reading some romantic historical fiction after all of that intense fantasy that I read earlier before this book, but ultimately, I don't know. This book was alright. It basically follows Patience. Yeah, her name is Patience, and honestly that was part of the thing I just couldn't get over. I was like, really? Her name has to be Patience? Like, it's too sickly sweet for me. But basically she runs an all-female boarding school. Her father passed away, her mother is dealing with a lot of depression, and her brother ran off to London, so she's kind of in charge, which is very obviously rare for the time period. I think this is like the 1700s. The landlord of this school is a young, dashing, mysterious young man who has a lot of gambling debt, so basically he's trying to figure out how to pay that off, and then they fall in love and blah 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 blah. It's just really, people said, you know, on the front it says if you're a fan of Jane Austen and Jane Eyre, you will love this, and maybe I'll try to give it a reread. I just don't think I was in the mood for it because it just felt too much. It was like a little too try hard for me. Like everything was too, like I just felt like there was always like sweeping violin music and dramatic gasps like every page. Also, her name was Patience. I did not have the patience for this. I was just like, really, girls' names gotta be Patience? Jane Eyre was not patient. Anyway, yeah, it was alright. I just couldn't read it though. I'm dramatic. I'm gonna try to reread this later, but I did have to. I think I gave it like a 2 stars. I'll maybe try this again. Let me know if you've read this. I really got like most of the way through though, but if you've read anything by Sarah E. Ladd and you liked it, let me know. I will give it a retry. Alrighty guys, that is everything I read in the month of March. Let me know down below some books you've read recently that you really enjoyed, as I would love to know, and I will see you soon with another video soon. Goodbye!